Hey, good evening, good night. Well, I want to say to all you parents, you gotta get your kids to sleep. I have Yuli Garza, Spartan, activist, teacher, and a bag of chips. We both have the same full plates in the Pro Valley. I'm honored to have her because she was on a panel this morning, and I'm going to share it as well as we speak. She was on a national panel with a group. I follow them too, and I put myself as media on there, so I got the quick thing on there, which was awesome because it was last minute text by you. It wasn't that text going that.
I just went like, let me tell everybody about it because I've been posting about it for the last week and a half and letting everybody know. But no one, I didn't know whether you guys had the link or not. And this morning I was just like, got super happy with my text messaging.
Yeah, and I want to let people see the clip of it. What they missed today, the website's there, and this is when you're talking.
And particularly voices in communities of color historically that are disproportionately impacted by gun violence that have been advocating for real and meaningful change for so long before this incident impacted my family. And what I learned in my work at Brady and at my work in the gun violence prevention movement is that we don't have a system of laws that any American can truly feel safe from gun violence. There is no community in America that can feel safe from gun violence. And unfortunately, there are too many communities that wear the burden and the brunt of the disproportionate impact of gun violence simply because we don't invest enough in community. So I'm excited about this conversation. I think it's a vitally important conversation, and I'm just so honored to be among the incredible people here that are fighting to do just that, to prevent families from knowing the pain and trauma that I continue to go through and my family continues to go through and our community continues to go through, because we need to do better.
Christian, thank you for sharing such an incredibly personal story. It's just heartbreaking to hear, some of the stories that have brought you here. Mike, tell us about what brings you to this work.
Yeah, well, first I just want to echo what you said, Dr. Acosta, and I just want to take a moment to honor your family, Christian, honor your students, Gabby. It's stories that change hearts and minds, not so much facts, and I know that the pain is real. And so I just want to say from a loving place, thank you for sharing, and also that it's us that are going to help us get through this. So I just really want to honor you all courage for saying that. I got into this work because I've been blessed to be raised by two incredible parents, teachers. Father was instrumental in the Chicano movement of the 60s. And to be honest, it was just, my brother and I are one of just two, the men in my family that's never served time in a cage, whether it's a prison or a jail or immigrant prison. I've seen the direct effects of poverty and violence on my personal family and understood the opportunities that I was granted that my cousins and uncles and aunts weren't, just drove me to get more involved. And so this is a real personal issue for me because I see how gun violence and state violence disproportionately impacts poor people and people of color in this country. And so that's what drives me to do what I do.
Thank you so much, Mike, for sharing that. Yulil, I know this is going to be a tough conversation for you, but can you share with us what brought you to this work?
First of all, I do, think about all the victims of gun violence and violence in general. But besides my resolve as a community organizer before our tragedy, is the DNA that's in my blood from my family to create change and to not settle and be working for the community. That's what my foundation in my life has been. But unfortunately, I'm also here as a mother whose son was murdered and was taken violently. And as a result of, instead of being reactive. I decided to be proactive. And it was because I didn't want another family member. And I hear what Christian and Gabby just, echoed. And what we don't want is to see others go through the pain that we're feeling on an everyday basis. Every morning I get up, I don't hear his voice. I can't say good morning. Every night I go to sleep, I can't go in and hug him and call him and FaceTime him. And so it was my promise to him and his life and the short life that he lived here that made me realize that everything that I had grown up with, the movements of the Chicano movement, just learning about it, the civil rights, and knowing that in a peaceful way, we can still create the action that we demand. And so as a mother telling the story in every space that I could, that I was invited to, that I would find a space in, I made sure I told his story. And it was his story that began Mothers and Men Against Gangs Coalition. And it is that pink elephant in the room that no one wants to talk about. And one of the reasons that MAG is involved with gun, control is because it's one of the weapons that is mostly used in gang violence. It is easy, it is quick, and it hurts families, and it really resonates to other victims of violence and helping them find that resilience that we have received from our community. And one of the ways that I ended up here at this table here is because I ended up attending CTA Hispanic Caucus just by chance. I stumbled on it at a conference and got involved at the California Teachers Association with the Hispanic Caucus. But then they introduced me to the NEA, the National Education Association, and the Representative Assembly. And there is where I really saw the work with teachers. We are at the front line. We get to see our students more times sometimes than their own families. And so it was with that passion that I felt NEA's priorities, not just in prevention of violence, but making sure that what Mike and Etsy mentioned is we're a disparity in our race and in our cultures and the spaces of that we in minorities live. So I am so passionate to help move this gun control forward along with all of the panelists and NEA.
So we've heard just in this conversation how gun violence affects all people.
I'll stop it there. But yeah.
Hearing myself again is like, boy, I want to go and just edit, but it came from the heart.
Yeah, and that's what, that's the 10 minutes I put this morning. And I know it goes more and more, but those panelists, I was just surprised to see names that I even knew. Mr. Doctor, I have him on my Facebook and my Instagram. And
wow.
Yeah, so yeah, I have a few of those supporters on there. I was like, what? So yeah, I do follow these people, some of them, and I was like, oh, they're panelists. And then when I looked at the agenda this morning, I'm like, oh crap, these are, they are around the country. We're in Pure Valley, you put a
we're out there.
Yay, it happens everywhere. But yeah, you said what you had to say, and I'm glad as an activist and as a journalist. Well, as me as a journalist, because that was given to me. I tell people that was just given to me by a colleague locally in town. But yeah, I'm active because I'm surprised that this is a national stage. This is like a big thing, and I saw that huge. Yeah, it's a big group, national, not just California, but national group with the Raza, with the caucus. And I was in that caucus when I was at the Capitol, by the way, to let you know I was in Hispanic Caucus Media. So I know that group very well. They're all over Sacramento. I'll tell you that right now. I'm pretty sure you know that. They're all over Sacramento. They have an office in Sacramento. They're a big group. And I had a chance to meet the director when I was in Sacramento. But you as what do you want to say to the people out there that are listening?
Something that when I receive opportunities, I think about how it can help others. And, I know that the spotlight is on me because I'm moving this movement forward. But in the end, I'm trying to bring others with me that are going to be able to speak on these issues. And mothers who have had their children murdered, be it by gun violence or stabbing, in like in my case, or sexual assault, or whatever it might be. It's one person leading and making sure the rest come through. When that, I felt like this was this crack in that door, that gave me, like, let me get through here. But then I was like, okay, this is an opportunity for everybody else. And so let me open the door a little bit further and bring more of the stories in. And, the timing, it's just 1 hour. So you're really needing to put everything in, all this life that I've lived and I've advocated into 3 minutes, no more than 5. They gave us a window. And so when I thought about it, being able to be on this stage can show mothers who are in pain that they can take their children's story everywhere and anywhere and be heard, and in making sure that their child didn't, die in vain as well. But I also believe that we become that opportunity that can open up more opportunities in the future to put the Imperial County on the map. I often hear that, Imperial Valley, and no one wants to show pride in the Imperial Valley. I was one that I just wanted to leave. Like, my goal was go to New York, become a big time accountant with Goldman Sachs, and buy shoes and clothes and go to the fashion district all the time. That was my goal when I would leave high school and I was going to go and become an accountant. Well, God had a different plan. But then the first thing that I wanted was to leave San Bernardino during the Rodney King riots. Like, I needed to raise my family in a safe environment. And so, we come back to the Valley and found pride back in this hometown and the love of the people in it who have fostered our family since we got here. And I wouldn't change it. Like, I know I get this opportunity to step out and go national, but at the same time, I'm always bringing my town with me, and that's what I think this was about. It's, we made it, and sometimes when we see one person make it, we believe that others will too, and others will follow. And, not needless to say, not to say that there hasn't been others that have been out there, but I think that with this platform, it's, something new, a new face and a new movement, and a movement that's really hot right now, unfortunately, with the gun violence and school shootings and senseless shootings. I've been praying so much for the 2 police officers out in LA. Regardless of what the climate is in our country, we always need to stay peaceful, and no one decides how we die except for God. And when we decide to start going after somebody with a weapon, that's like off. And so talking about this and talking about all the different issues that surround gun violence, that I was just like, ooh, like I wanted to do mic drops right there and do like, Obama, like, and then I wanted to like do high fives a lot of the times, but I was like being very proper, it was like, I'm on national, on a national stage. So I gotta, not be all, get my Chicana out there and stuff. So yeah, but it was exciting. And that's what I think the big picture is. We were there, but it's not going to be the last time.
There's more doors openings. I always tell this to my clients and to my colleagues. There's more doors opening. Don't close the blessings. Open the blessings. Let the doors opens. Don't say no. Say yes. I learned that one.
To you today. I was like, oh my God, I've been, because I did another interview with another newspaper, and so that was like, okay. And then you invited me. I'm like, I can't say no. You know what? It's good for both of us. It's good for both of us. We both get to expose each other's gifts, and responsibilities and voices. You have a voice through your work, and I have a voice through work. And when we combine it, we amplify the message.
Yeah, I've been lately working with the Port of Veterans in Tijuana. I was up there for Labor Day weekend. I was working it, and I'm working with the veterans up in Tijuana right now as I speak. I could call them later on tonight, get this paperwork, and I'm just like on the roll on our deported veterans right now. I'm working with one. I'm gonna be working with more, and
With
yeah, they're
Congressman
just
Hernandez. I know
and the
he's
home,
been working on that.
and the homeless side too, because that's another thing I work behind the scenes. People are surprised that I now belong to California Homeless Union. We get Zoom all the time. We have our national Zoom. We just got an email over a national lawyer, and I think in DC. So yeah, we're just like constantly working on the homeless behind the scenes as well. We're working on making sure this election goes through right, which is
Yeah.
yeah, we're looking at the elections. We're focusing on
We're
every
not started on that because I'm campaigning and I can't lose any votes. So we need to have that conversation after November 3rd.
yeah. And by the way, she is running for
Unless they're college issues.
trustee. I mean, you could throw that in if you want to. I mean, we could talk here for 30 minutes if we want to, girl.
No.
It's up to you. It's your time. I'm telling you
But
right
you
now.
know, it's funny because having gone into that that space with all of these leaders and realizing how many hats I wear was mind blowing. And I don't usually put them all like out there, you know, like I do this, I do that. I don't, I just do it. People find out I do it. And like you just, I mean, we haven't talked in a while, but you follow, you know, and I follow you and stuff. So we know what each other's doing. And so today, when they told me, make sure that you mention the different hats you wear, including the fact that you're a new candidate. And I was really surprised because usually they want you to keep the political out and, you know, it's just, you don't know. And I was very, very happy to know that they want more people to get inspired to run, which is what happened to me. I'm a mother and I'm a teacher. I'm also a unionist with CTA, you know, my local, and then CTA and NEA. But I'm also a victim, and I speak for other victims as well as a community organizer. I work with a coalition of members, you know, like CASA and the court system with Judge Ulloa. And although this year we've been a little bit quiet because, you know, I just personal issues that have happened, but these are the partnerships that I worked on with them. And then, you know, to throw in their public speaker, because that's another thing that I'm doing, public speaking. And I'm currently writing my book. I have a writing coach, so that's like, throw that in there, right? But right now, the one thing that I'm just so excited and just like threw my whole time into is finally getting the opportunity to run for an elected seat. I've been working on campaigns since I first moved to Brawley and my kids were old enough to stay with my mom. She would take care of them. I'd go and I volunteered making phone calls or putting up signs or going to a campaign rally or endless activities as a volunteer. And I've been making this joke, and you're gonna laugh, but you always hear about always the bridesmaid, never the bride, right? Like, yeah. Never. Well, I was always the campaign volunteer and never the candidate. Like, I was working tirelessly on different campaigns all the time, and I was never a candidate. I wanted to, but I also had felt like I was going to make it a commitment to my children. And so when I decided to throw myself in this, I really had to think about what area would I be more beneficial to. And I feel that at the school district levels, whether it be at the elementary or at the high school level, I'm already serving in that area because I do a lot of literacy nights with the young kids. With the school districts, we do literacy nights at the libraries. And then we also touch on literacy at the high school level and leadership and mentorship. And so we do that at the high school level, and I teach at the junior high level. So I was like, it's either city council or it's college, and But my passion is education. My passion is education. I was, you remember, I mean, who doesn't remember my campaign in high school?
Oh my gosh, you're gonna go back that way? Let's go back. Let's go back to high school. Yeah, you were a candidate for Mexican American Club.
That was one, right? Because I came in, I'm like, where's my mecha? Right? Because I was in mecha.
You were the president for Mexican American Club back in the 89 at Central.
I was 88. I went into Central at 88. I was a junior and the new kid in town, but the new kid with that open mentality of, we gotta take up space. We have to take seats at the table. And I get there and there is no Latinos, that I can like partner up with or volunteer with, and I'm like, why are they running the show when there's 80-90% Latino at this school? And I just kept asking. I'm like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? I remember asking you. You're like, oh, we have a Mexican American club with Mr. Satarain. I was like, dude, okay.
Yeah, you told me that. I don't forget that.
Yeah, you know what? For me, that was the first experience of actually running for office. And everybody kept telling me I was the underdog. You're new. And
oh man, you're taking back to grassroots when we're in high school, girl. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you're taking back.
It was about opening, and I'm still doing that. It's about breaking that ground, opening that path, and making sure when you get in, you're bringing everybody else in. And that's been my life story. So going back to that high school day and me campaigning, I was running against other students who had been in ASB, who had been in class leadership in some way and wanted to become that, president for the whole school. And I came. I
4 years for Friday Night Live. Remember? You don't. I couldn't get away from Friday Night Live. They kept electing me. I'm like, hey, I want to get out of Friday Night Live.
You know what I took from that was George Miranda. He was
George Miranda.
This right here, he showed me this poem, God Grant Me the Serenity. That's when I picked it up, when I ended up in Friday Night Live. But, going back to the campaigning and the why, IVC is when I was involved at the high school, I realized that more of us needed to go to college and more of us in college needed to take up a leadership role. When going to San Bernardino, I got involved with the Latino Business Club, because I was all about getting involved. And so when that happened and they were like, you can be a businesswoman, you could, we have connections up at Goldman Sachs in New York. And I was like, woo, I'm going to be single forever and just make money and spend money on shoes and fashion and go to the, do pretty much like, Sex in the City kind of thing, right? No, God said, you're getting married, you're falling in love, you're going to have kids, and you're going to go back to the Valley. And so going back to the Valley, I went back and it was a humbling experience because everybody thought, this is the ASB president, she's going to be somebody, she's going to come back and she's going to have impact. And I come back and, I'm in love and I have this, family, and I go back to IVC. I go back to IVC and start, not necessarily all over, but I was really proud of going back and getting that going as an educator, because I started working with Michael Minix. El Central School Board, but he gave me my first job in education. And Mrs. Millan, working with her, she said, you got what it takes to be an educator. So I went back to school, even with 2 kids, and transferred to San Diego State. And when I was at San Diego State, they kept telling me, like, you need to run here, because a lot of them went to school with me. Luis, oh gosh, I can't remember his last name right now. He's really tall. I think he's a CEO. But he's like, you got to run. And somebody who was president before me said, don't run, because I'm running. And I was like,
Gomez? I think Gomez was one of them, because he was also out there. He went to school with us.
It was Gonzalez. Yeah, so I was like, I'll run next year. I'll let you go ahead and do it, But once I decided to run, everybody was saying, you're not going to make it. You're married, you're older, and you have 2 kids, you got a job. How are you going to be ASB president? And I said, you watch me. And I did it for 2 years. But what I took from that experience was traveling all over the United States, with the Hispanic, what is it called? What is it called? HACU, Hispanic Association for Colleges and Universities, HACU.
Oh.
I did several conferences, and I participated and went to DC with them for 2 years, 3 years almost, and did a lot of lobbying and did a lot of policy, work. And so working with HACU and then working with the Cal State Student Association as a president, it really opened my eyes to, we need to make sure that we have a voice at that table in the chancellor's office. We need a voice at the table at every trustee's, board. And one of the things that I pride myself with now is during the time of my tenure as president, we were working with our Congress, and getting the bills and approving them and what we're going to support and what we're not. And the one that was just being thought of was the DACA, the Dreamers. And, that was in 2000, 2001 that it was becoming, it was getting life. It was getting a heartbeat. And boy, was that labor long and hard, right? How long it took. But I knew that my family, I had 2 family members who were Dreamers at the time. And they had so much potential, and they're successful humans right now. And I'm glad that that was an option, for the future students. And so going back to my decision was, I had to look back at what I had already accomplished, which was working with Cal State Student Association and working on that DACA and working on creating minority cultural caucuses within the Cal State Student Association. The African American caucus, the Hispanic caucus. We were told that we couldn't separate everything. And we kept pushing back and ended up creating those spaces for these minority groups so that they can feel empowered and start building a voice. But I remember there was so much controversy, and this was 2000. Okay?
2000, yeah. My son was born.
Like, it should have already been established, but and so now looking fast forward 20 years later, I finally decide that that's where my passion is in higher education. The Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities, going places and listening to their agendas and their policy making and how they've been helping Hispanic students. This was the perfect seat for me to be able to serve the students at IVC. So that's why I'm doing it. I truly believe passionately that I can be a voice for the students, for the parents, because I was a parent. My daughter ended up going there. For the staff, I worked there. My husband worked there. And my daughter even was a part-timer there with the Upward Bound program. And I taught there with the Upward Bound program. And then, who would have thought, but we became policy partners. We created the first resolution in the Imperial County to declare Gang Awareness and Prevention Month and the Prevention Day in order to start this talk that nobody wants to talk about. So IVC is my life. It's been part of me. It's becoming part of my DNA, and being able to take this seat on November 3rd, if elected by my peers here and the constituents of Raleigh, it would bring that whole life to fruition of just becoming whole in IVC.
Now you said that, how far is your district for where you're running for? Is it Raleigh, Westmoreland, or Calapat, all that area?
No, Calapat has its own representative.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to leave it out to questions and answers because nobody's letting me Q&A here, but they could put your comments and we could respond to them, you guys.
I don't know if anyone has questions. Anybody has questions over here?
Have questions or just want to throw out a shout out, you guys are willing to do that, and I'll put it out to you guys on blast here. So, yeah, I'm excited.
We have a lot of people on here. I have Oscar and Tony, Yvonne, Anne Ramirez, Cecilia. Hey, we got a lot of Spartans. Delfina Mejia's in here. Victor, hey. Christy Alvarado, yeah, girl. Okay, Eugenia. I'm just trying to see if there's any questions or comments. Irene Escobar is one of my classmates and also my coworker at Calexico at one point. Lupe Peña, she's hardcore Brawley family. Very proud to have the Peñas.
Oh, here we go. There I go. Here I go. You. Carol.
Who? Hey, Carol!
Yuli. Yeah, she's on.
Carol is okay. I just gotta say, Carol is just amazing. Her and her daughter have been part of our life. I think she came into our life, unfortunately, when my son was taken from us. And what I remember is reading her letter, her victim impact statement, because every time we put out a call of action, Carol has answered. And that means a lot to me. And it means a lot to recognize the work and the dedication to just being part of that community. And she's done that. But I remember her just sharing that, she and her husband at the time and her daughter were eating when my son's casket was going by to go to the football field. I don't know if you remember that, Carol, in your letter, your impact letter. I remember, I don't know if I'm putting you on blast, but.
You can write a comment, Carol, on here. It's okay if you don't want to. You can put it.
But ever since then, she's become part of MAG, and she's volunteered several times. She went to feed the Central Spartans when we were invited.
Hey, remember that Spartan band you did for us? Remember? I'll never forget that one you did for us with your son / all the Spartans. And then I found out she's also a Spartan. I'm like, what the heck?
She's in class of '85.
Yeah, I mean, we're all Spartans here, but I was surprised what you threw. That all of us were there, all those politicos were there, and then we did the class picture. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, she's
that was an awesome day.
Spartan, and just recently, her daughter became part of MAG Teens and did a literacy program with us where we read The Hate You Give. And now she's part of Team Yulil. She's part of my committee, and it's just amazing to have that relationship with her. I've thanked her, I don't know, endless times, but I will continue to thank her all the time for her work and her dedication. And it's not just with me and our organization and our family. She truly does divide herself and give of herself everywhere.
Oh, she does, and I know Carol very well. Carol, you're just a phone call away.
Yeah, thank you, Carol, for coming on. Let me see on my side. I have Aide Carrillo. She's also, she was a Calexico, and then she came to Brawley because of Brawley Wrestling. She's a wrestler, a family. Awesome. Cool. Palacio, Vanessa Palacio, and then Teresa, Noemi Martinez. Maria Abris. Hi, amiga. That is your sister. Delfina says, how exciting to be on this hour with you. Class of 90 with Delfina. And then
hard to get to work.
Yeah,
go back to work, Delfina.
Delfina said, what's up, Daniel? Monique Morales is on here. And then, because I'm wearing my Mexican shirt, so she says, Viva Mexico. I'm like, Viva Team Yulil. Yeah. Patty Towers, Amanda Gutierrez, Anna Michael. I don't have my glasses on. I'm blind. Regina, hi. Gabby Gutierrez, and then Wayne. Wayne, what's up? RC, hello, amiga. Juanita. Juanita is amazing. We did an interview because they have open seating outside, and so she has my son's jersey at Brownies. Her and her husband purchased it through an auction when everything happened to raise money for the Hacienda Scholarship Fund. And she paid $173. And I hate to blast you out there, but we were so honored and happy that she actually took that action, and her husband and her family, because it was going to go up on Brownies. And I don't know, a lot of people don't know, but we would go to church on Sundays. This is how I got my son to go to church. I told him, you go to church with me. Mrs. Tombuck is going to church at the time. So I said, Mrs. Tombuck's in church. You want to go? He's like, oh, okay. And then I said, I'll take you to Brownies after. And from there on, it was go to church and we go to Brownies after. And so his jersey is home. That's where home is. And so on Sundays, now it's been a tradition for us to continue our family tradition, but in that corner where we took the picture for the Sunday newspaper is his jersey. And so we have breakfast right below. I mean, we haven't had breakfast there, I think, since March 15th, somewhere. The Sunday
Years ago, I
right
was
before
under
we
your
went
son's
into
jersey at Brownies. I had a meeting there, and I just remember I sat under the jersey. I was like, "Oh, I remember this
Yeah.
person." You know,
Yeah.
I sat under after a meeting.
There, so you can't miss it.
Yeah.
You can't miss it. And so, yeah,
You can't
she's always been supportive of not just my coalition, but of the whole community. Like, and it's important for all of us right now to make sure that we're taking care of our local businesses as well. So that was one thing I loved, that we were able to do the interview there and take the picture and highlight a local restaurant and stuff. So Juanita's on here.
Yeah, when you know her husband loves when I share their Blitz and Town Pub. They love when I share something on Town Pub. Yeah,
Town Pub is amazing. I miss it. Let me tell you.
those
Lori,
steaks.
Amber, Diana, Claudia, and Paulette, one of my son's classmates, Maurice. Margaret, hello. Lots of Brawley people are on here. Really cool. Tori, Sandra, Zoila. Hey, Zoila's on. Zoila
I
Leiva.
want to share this, please. This is going to go viral. I want this to go viral all over in Pro Valley.
Zoila, class of 90. Another class of 90 is on here. Elrod, hey! Awesome. Okay, this is the comment. Awesome, Yulil Alonso Garza. I know you are making a difference. Keep moving forward, and more power to you. Such a blessing. Thank you, amiga. Thank you so very much for always following too and supporting. I do appreciate those words. Judy, Jasmine, Macrina, Margaret, girl. No, she's Margaret Singh. She's a family from here, from Brawley. Her husband was my son's coach, okay. and then her nephew also coached with her husband, and then his son was my son's classmate teammate. So it goes way back. Becky, Nana. I'm trying to see if we see any more class of 90s. Barbie, Macrina, gracias amiga, my coworker. Danny Delgado, Shannon, my past dentist. There, Lori, El Gato. You know who's in here? El Cat Felix. Well, he's like 89. He's older than we are. Paul, do you remember Cat?
No.
You don't remember?
Veteran.
Leonor Felix? Do you remember Leonor Felix? She was class of 90. Yeah. Her brother. Big talk.
Posada. I remember.
Well, we live like across, I think. Yeah. Robin, Mary Lou. Oh, dang. We have a lot of people on here. Erica, Maria, Marilena Garibaldi, Delfina. Delfina said, I'm just so proud of us Spartans. Yeah, go blue. Go blue. Hey, if you cut me, I'm going to bleed blue on this side and gold on this side, okay, for my son. Remember we used to say that all the time?
Yeah, I'm gonna be
blue, and if you cut me, I'm gonna bleed blue. Yep. Jenny, she's Benavida. She's an amazing person and amazing community member here in Brawley. Thank you. She said, keep up the good work. Delfina says, how can we help get your name more voters when out of state? Well, you can like my stuff, share my stuff. And if you know anybody in Brawley, message them and let them know that you're supporting. Because even those that are out of state, my family, they're out of state and they're also out of the city. And I tell them, well, just like my stuff and share it. And people that might know you from here may know. You could always also, of course, contribute and to the campaign. I have like a little link for donors. Every dollar counts. It makes a difference. It makes a difference.
Are you doing a fundraiser for your campaign, by the way, since we're on this topic?
I haven't thought of doing a fundraiser, but someone just told me, like, we want some of your salsa. And my salsa is fire. Hey, you know what? Ask anybody.
I haven't tried it, so I don't know.
My
husband has invited me to your house. I see your husband constantly when I travel through Greyhound. He's like, what are you doing here, fool? Your husband saw him one day recently. He's like, oh, dude, I'm taking a trip. It's like, whoop-kila.
Yeah, all the time. But yeah, salsa. So I'm thinking about doing like a barbacoa salsa fundraiser. That I'm thinking about it. It's going to be probably something I'll talk to my family and the committee and see what they think. Mike and Emma Salcedo, Francis Salazar, hello. And then David Gomez, one of my friends from.
Caro said salsa is the bomb. She just posted. Caro said your salsa is a bomb.
See, I told you, dude. Everybody who has my salsa, addicting, and it's so easy for me. Like I love doing this for people, and I don't like do it for because everybody says like put it in a jar and sell it. It's made with love and only for special occasions. So yeah, and for special people I love. Jose Piseño, hi. Francis says yo, and Delfina says bless all of your passions and efforts. Gracias, amiga. Yes. Hey, Cat says go Spartans. El gato.
Yeah.
Rocio, Pamela Padilla, just another coworker in education. Eddie, my niece, Mercedes, La Meche, all the way in Blythe. And Claudia Cerros from Hoville. Hoville's in the house. So, and that's it. That's all my comments. Francis is laughing because Jackie's and George's mom. Oh, Francis! Oh, girl. We're going to have to hit up your kids later on. It's because I have my friend Jackie and George Zamora. We always have so much fun together. And literally we've been having more fun during this pandemic, just messaging back and forth. And we just want to like get together. Their mom came in and dropped off a special package. I'll just say it that way. Right, Francis? Special package. And so we just can't wait for this pandemic to be over so we can all be safe and be able to get together and hug and celebrate. But yeah, it's cool. So what do you got on your behalf? What's up? With any more questions?
No, I just got just a few things. That was it. I mean, not really. Just the goal, just to put you out there because I'll be interviewing more everybody that's running for office in the Valley. So you're like one of the second in my channel here, Culture Leadership Today. So you're the first one of first. Yeah.
Hey, it seems to be the little I'm gonna say strut that I'm having right now. Like first.
You're the first.
And you know what? It's just really important for all of us to understand.
You froze.
Okay, there we are. Okay.
I froze. Yeah.
Something I learned today, being on that panel and just listening. I know my daughter was laughing because it seemed like you weren't. I mean, it's because when I'm like that and I'm like really taking everything in and everything. And so one thing that I learned at the end, the closing comments that Gabby mentioned is we cannot stand by and let others do the work. There's something we can all do to contribute to better our community, to make sure that we create the change that we want to see. What I hear a lot, and especially on social media, I hear a lot of people complaining. They complain about the pandemic. They complain about having to be quarantined. They complain about, so many
You might tell them,
things.
and you get to tell them, where's their faith at? Where's their faith at? That's how I can tell. Where's their faith at?
I'm going there because I said, you know what? One of the things that has helped me get through this is my faith in God, because if he got me through my son's murder, I mean, God willing, it's all positive from here on out. But when we have an issue with a problem in our community, then you roll up your sleeves and start getting active, and don't just give us ideas of you should do this and you should do that and maybe this. No, do it with me, show me. Or you know what? It's about not standing by and being an audience, which is what Gabby said. You cannot afford to be an audience. And that was one of my big takeaways from my other panelists is we can't afford to just stay and settle and be okay with the situations that are out there right now. And it doesn't matter what side you're on. It matters that you're just out. It matters that your voice is counted in the census. It matters that you as a person is counted in, the ballot boxes. And you know, putting myself out there has a lot of courage. You know, going and pulling my papers by myself and not having anyone guide me, not having anyone tell me what I need to write in my personal.
You don't have a campaign manager? Okay.
There you go. I just believe in that, and I you know, I know that other people will find out, but when you have a passion, you drive your passion and you carry it, and people follow, and then you allow people to lead you as well. But you don't let others make decisions for you. You have to be that person that's saying, you know, I'm going to be the catalyst for change. I'm going to be that new perspective at the IVC Board of Trustees. And besides that, it's all the other work that I've been doing.
I'm glad you left the statement for election day, because I have the election papers here, the candidates, and it says you left the statement. So awesome. I'm glad, because a lot of the candidates that run for office never leave a statement.
Sorry, you know why? Because
they're afraid.
No, they don't want to invest. First of all, it costs. There's a cost to being.
Oh, I know that. I know that.
And the other thing is, how do you put your whole idea and who you are into that paragraph? You know, I was blessed with writing skills and, you know, like just the experience of what I need that message to be. And then I just had like my writing coach look it over. He's like, just change here and here, very small changes. And then I was in the game, you know. And I just want to say, I put my papers in before anybody else did. And the incumbent of 31 years, you know, put his after mine. And it wasn't until the last day that he ended up pulling his out, because obviously we have to run campaigns. We can't just let people run unopposed. And so that's what happened to me. So they pulled his out and they put somebody else's in, and I'm okay, because I'm still running my campaign like this. Tunnel vision. I have my eye on the prize and not let any distractions, you know, stop that move forward, you know, that progress.
Yeah, I noticed there's only 2 on the list. There's only 2 on the list.
Don't mention the other one, please.
Huh? That's all I'm saying. There's 2 on the list. That's all I'm gonna say.
But there's really only one, and I'm first because of the alphabet.
It's like they always say. I learned it through the valley, and when I travel, it's name ID. We both have name ID out there. And I'm sorry to say, for the trolls, which I don't call them haters no more, I call them trolls. I tell them, hey, it's called networking. It's called networking is the keys to success, where we get to the top. That's where I've been at lately. I've traveled. Your husband saw me one day traveling. Boy, I said, I have faith. I told him, because he saw me. He was like, what are you doing here? And I told him, I have faith, man.
This is the longest I have stayed home without like traveling for business or for networking. I've traveled, but for family reasons. We're building a foundation or whatever, but I haven't done a lot of traveling. And usually I'm all over the place. Last year, due to my networking, I went from Texas, then I went to Denver, and you know, LA, of course. You know, I was always in LA, and that's a little bit compared to, because I don't have the funds right now, but that's what it's about. It's about getting yourself out there, and I think it's helping that. I know it sounds weird, but it's helping that we're in a pandemic and we're doing a lot of the networking through Zoom and through emails and through FaceTiming. So it's just another mode now to be able to network. And so continue your work as well, Daniel. I think the last time I saw you was at Blancarte's event.
Yeah, that party we were together having fun.
It was a networking, no party. It's a networking. That's what we call it during campaign season.
It was a networking.
It was a networking.
No, but you didn't go to the after party with us. You took off. I'll never forget that one. You took off after party. You took off. There was an after party.
I was trying to be a good girl.
Yeah, there was an after party that it was like, whoa.
I had to. You know, that's another story. That's another chapter. That's another YouTube.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the last time we saw each other. That's true. That's all. I'll point back. Like, when's
Well,
the
you
last
took
time?
that picture of me on that thing because my heels kept sinking in.
And I took a picture of it.
Yeah, you took a picture of it. I don't even know where it's at, but I remember I'm like, man, I keep sinking in. I was with Fidel and Josh and all them, and then they're like all tall, and I'm like sinking in my heels. Usually I can keep up because I have my heels, but that day it was weird. It was weird, but I really miss those days of networking and being in that space with people and just watching their facial expressions. And God willing, we continue to be safe, and we'll be back. We'll be back in business, and life will be back to normal in 2021, like Dr. Fauci says.
What do you what do you want to tell your followers? What not to forget to vote? No, November 3rd. No, vote absentee for you. Those absentee, they got to vote for you on those absentee ballots.
October 3rd is absentee ballot time. I think that I understand that it's a small community, and I understand there's when elections happen, there's pressure and there's bullying, and I won't bully, honestly. I will just put my faith in God, and oh boy, there's a race to go outside. And so, that's just what I'll say, is that we have to make sure that we stay focused in God's plan. And that's what I'm going to do. Make sure you do your absentee ballot on the 3rd. Make sure that you phone bank. I've been phone banking with different organizations and agencies. Of course, the Biden campaign with Kamala, I'm on that one. But also with the campaign with Proposition 15 to get funding first, funding for schools. So I've been doing working with Dolores Puerta as well. And the phone banking is so easy. You could be watching TV and doing it on your phone, because that's how easy they've been making it. But if we don't start taking that action towards that change, whether it be during elections or even volunteering, with nonprofits like my own, and like Jessica Solorio, her like the nonprofit that she's leading with Spread the Love is just amazing work. I admire that they're helping people in need, and I look forward to working with her more as well. But get involved within any area that you want. That's a takeaway for today. Don't be an audience. Take part.
Advocate, and we're there.
Yes.
Margaret just said, "Great to see us."
okay.
Margaret's also talking about her.
Wait. Tell Margaret not to go anywhere.
Margaret, don't go nowhere.
Margaret. I'll send you the picture later. But so Margaret was a moderator for a forum 2 weeks ago, and it was just amazing. She's just amazing. I love that she has a voice, tiene poder, tiene what many men kind of lack. But yes, sure, helpline. They do advocating for even the more needy. I feel like those victims of crime and sexual crime, domestic violence. And I love that she's always, you thought I was the voice? Margaret, agárrate. Y agárrense el que se le ponga enfrente. Mis respetos. But she gave us, the panelist at the time, she gave us this treasure box, right? And honestly, that day, you're in the moment, just like today. You're in that moment. You're just, And so I took it home and I put it on my dresser. And I've just been looking at it for the last 2 weeks without exaggerating. I've been looking at it because it's such a cute little box. And I was like, it's a treasure box. Never did I think to open this treasure box. And I think it was just meant. It was just meant to be for today, Margaret. And when I opened it, this was what was in there right before I went on live. And this made my day. I felt like it was meant to be for today. And it said blessings and good luck. And this, when she gave it to us, she was like, good luck on your campaign, right? And so I really think that maybe in her mind, that was meant for that, right? For my race. And I do believe that she gave me the blessing. It's on, right? But today, this sat with me as I was on that national panel, speaking about, our story. And so gracias, Margaret, for this beautiful handwritten note. I will treasure it. I took a picture of it. I make sure I captured it. And so, yeah, thank you.
I had to put the
And
panel
it's there.
picture on there as well, so it's on there.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, I felt like her message, although maybe it was for the campaign overall, it helped me get through today. All right. Well, good night. Thank you, Daniel, for reaching out, for giving me this space and the opportunity to speak to your followers, my followers. And I hope that we continue to work together and do amazing things as Spartans.
Tell the Spartans on your side we're great to go. November 3rd, here we go. Hustle, hustle, and get the votes.
Yes, work it.